Hello and welcome to my channel Live My Journey, and to my video about 5 reasons why I've decided to replace my Mavic 2 Pro with Mavic Air 2. This new drone has a lot more in common with the Mavic 2 series, with the same transmission protocol, over 30 minutes battery life, and introduction of H.265 codec. I don't want to bore you with the information you may have already found in other reviews of this new drone, and move straight to the reasoning behind the change. The video quality comparison points to Mavic 2 Pro being the better drone. However, the margins are not that great. What you can achieve in terms of video will largely depend on your abilities.
Low light performance being here a biggest difference.
Mavic 2 Pro can produce a 10-bit 4K video in up to 30 frames per second, while Mavic Air 2 is limited to 8-bit color, but 60 frames per second in 4K resolution. In Mavic 2 Pro, the flat log color profile called D-Log M requires not only more processing power, but color grading know-how. I was never really happy with my results working with D-Log M, and so moved to a much more amateur user-friendly DCN-alike as a blessing. The Mavic Air 2 files are also easily digestible by the computer and are just more pleasant to work with. Both drones can produce a detailed 4K footage with good color reproduction. If you are a professional who wants and is able to squeeze every last drop of quality to deliver your content directly to a customer, MP2 or Mavic 2 Pro is the one for you. However, if all you want is to make stunning quality videos with little effort, and you will deliver your content to your viewers directly by highly compressed media like YouTube or Facebook video, you might save yourself a lot of hassle going with the smaller drone, Mavic Air 2. The margin of difference in video made by these two drones when compared on YouTube will be very slim. In fact, in my recent unscientific comparison videos for both drones, judging by the comments, the Mavic Air came out on top. I, for one, want to be able to enjoy myself while creating my content instead of obsessing about detail, so the Mavic Air 2, with easier process but still excellent quality footage, wins the contest for me. The next reason why I prefer the camera on Mavic Air 2 is the field of view. It has a wide cinematic 84 degrees field of view, similar to Phantom 4 Pro, while Mavic 2 Pro has two selectable options. The first one called FOV with 77 degree and HQ with 55 degree field of view. The wider field of view sacrifices video quality by downscaling image from a larger sensor to 4K and therefore losing some detail. With the other mode, HQ mode, you get a much narrower field of view. However, you get a crop from the middle of the sensor, so the quality of the footage is excellent. I feel that this move by DJI was meant to leave them open for incremental camera change in the next iteration of this model. In many comparison videos, the FOV mode produced image inferior to cheaper Mavic 2 zoom model, while I found flying in the 55 degree HQ mode less comfortable. It resembles having a tunnel vision or always on zoom of about a time and a half. It will often force you to fly much greater distances to frame the same object. To animate the same object in frame with a roll movement because of the distance, now you will have to fly a lot faster. On the flip side, to frame the same object with Mavic Air 2, you might have to fly a little bit closer to it. However, it's not as much of a problem because the drone is a lot less intimidating. It's smaller and a lot quieter. My preference is to have a wider field of view on the drone. Mavic 2 Pro could have had an upper hand here with adjustable field of view, if not for its poor implementation. The next difference I would like to discuss is the camera focus. The Mavic Air 2 has a fixed focus of 1 meter to infinity, guaranteeing a focus shot every time. Mavic 2 Pro has a focus feature that, although has been improved since the first Mavic, it is still an option unnecessary to a drone, causing more harm than good in my opinion. At best you will get images as sharp as Mavic Air 2's, and at worst you could set your focus incorrectly or forget to set it at all, making the video unfocused and unusable. That's another Mavic Air 2 win for me. If anyone knows why we need focus on this class of drone, I'll be interested to hear from you down in the comments below. The next in line is tracking feature, now called Focus Track, available on Mavic Air 2. I believe that this feature is seriously undersold by the DJI. I think they should be shouting from the rooftops about how well this feature works on their latest drone, instead of advertising the gimmick of 8K hyperlapse. Focus Track is now an integral part of your screen. When you mark any area on the screen with your finger, it puts your drone into the spotlight mode. So from that point, your drone is controlling the yaw and the tilt of the camera, keeping your subject in focus. You can move the drone every which way while the drone still maintains the camera focus on your subject. The reason why I believe this feature is so important is because drone, by controlling the yaw and the tilt of camera, takes away the heavy lifting from the operator. You can concentrate on flying your drone and maintaining eye contact while the drone controls the camera, having your subject perfectly lined. Also, both these moves, so the drone yaw as well as camera's tilt up and down, are the two camera movements that can make or break your shot. Apart from that, a small menu appears on the bottom of the screen where you can select additional 2 autonomous modes. This is active track. Obviously this is the mode you use for tracking moving objects. The second mode is point of view, where you select the object on the screen and the drone creates an orbit around this object. All these 3 modes work better than ever and are available in normal, tripod as well as sports mode. This feature will enable users to create more fluid cinematic multi-axis shots, only reserved for the most skilled pilots until now, with ease of a finger swipe and without having to browse menus for a type of mode they would desire. Focus Track for cinematic use will be featured in my next video, so watch this space. While tracking features are available on Mavic 2 Pro also, their placement is a lot less convenient, with modes hidden inside flight mode menu. The spotlight, that is a main feature in Mavic Air 2, is a part of active track mode of Mavic 2 Pro, with point of interest being a separate mode. The tracking accuracy on Mavic 2 Pro wasn't nearly as good, and oftentimes I found it to be frustrating. While we're on the subject of cinematic smooth flying and filming, I will mention that despite not having any adjustable settings for flight characteristics, the Mavic Air 2 is the first drone set for cinematic filming out of the box. It's now realistic to use it in sport mode, giving you opportunity to create very dynamic shots previously reserved for larger drones with independent camera operation and second operator. So combining the focus track, extremely smooth flight with the fixed camera focus resulted in nearly all of my footage shot on the day of testing being good enough quality to publish. It means I save time by not having to stabilize my shots, by not having to spend a long time looking for faulty camera moves, rendering promising shots useless, and simply it lets me choose the shots that work for me creatively rather than settle for the ones that are of good enough quality. Another big win for me with the new drone is the combination of the new controller design with the new streamlined DJI Fly app. The old controller in comparison was awkward to hold. Connecting the device with controller using included short cables was often difficult, or in many cases impossible. Using the bottom USB often led to device disconnecting from the controller whenever the cable was moved by our hand. The new design is easy to use It is mounted away from your hands and it's neatly stowed away inside the controller when the device holder slash antenna is in closed position. The controller battery has also been improved and now it should last up to 240 minutes even while charging your device. It is also a definitely more pleasant device to hold. The ergonomy of the use has now been significantly improved with the conjunction with the new app. Instead of the second controller wheel, you will now get your camera settings like ISO, shutter speed, EV, exposure lock and manual auto switch on the bottom of the screen in easy reach of your right thumb. More importantly, all the video and photo modes and settings are no longer hidden away in many different windows covering your display. Now they are all available on the main screen with only less used options hidden away in off-screen menus. As a last subject, I will mention photography. If you are a professional photographer or someone who professionally creates autophoto maps, Mavic 2 Pro should be your primary focus. First, because of the larger sensor offering you better native resolution and higher dynamic range. Secondly, because at the moment there is no waypoint implementation in Mavic Air 2 and it would make sense if DJI wanted to keep this exclusive for the more professional drones. Saying that, I believe that Mavic Air 2 is somewhat of a surprise to me in photo department. All the photographer favorite modes like AAB, burst and all flavors of panoramas are still here and available in RAW format as well. Additionally, we now have a 48 megapixel mode that uses quad Bayer filter to produce images at 4 times the native sensor's resolution. They are, in my opinion, as sharp as the 20 megapixel photos from Mavic 2 Pro, but upon closer inspection, instead of typical grain found on higher crop values, we will find some artifacts. If you are a pixel counter, this could put you off, but anything other than extreme crop and you still get outstanding image quality. If a daylight photography was a bit of a surprise to me, the low light was a shock. Thanks to an unbelievable stability of Mavic Air 2, you can now take low exposure photos without smudging caused by drone's movement. This was made as a 5 exposure AEB bracketed shot with shutter times of between 0.4 to 2.5 seconds. In a similar scenario using Mavic 2 Pro, I'll be taking 5 shots in burst, hoping that one of them will be sharp enough. On the upside, Mavic 2 Pro would only be using single exposure for that type of shot, thanks to its superior sensor. Unless you're a professional, I would count this as a draw for both these drones. I hope this will give you something to think about when considering either of these models. Also, please check the links below for my comparison videos as well as some sample photos and videos from both of these drones. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any feedback, please use the comment section and consider supporting my channel by subscribing today. See you in my next video.